Welcome to our weekly broadcast of the African Treasures. Here we bring to you African arts, culture, and music. We also discuss issues of concern to people of the African descent in America, the Caribbean, South America, Africa, and all over the world. We invite you to come and see Africa in a positive light. So stay tuned and tell your friends to do the same.
Welcome to another episode of the African Treasures. I'm Dr. Mike Okeke, your host. Today's topic is the state of African marriages in America. Challenges we face and ups and downs and the differences in marriages in Africa. And my guests are Mrs. Senabu Brown from Gambia, originally, married to Mr. Ken Brown, an American. Welcome to our African Treasures.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've invited you today to help me explore this issue and help our viewers to understand a little bit of the state of African marriages. And let me direct it to Mr. Brown. You married a Gambian.
Correct.
You're an American married to a Gambian. Mm-hmm. That's not very usual here in America.
That's true.
Yes. So how did it come about?
Well, I met her when she was managing a store.
Okay.
And I would go by and talk to her. We talk about religion and friendships, and we became friends. And for a year, we just kind of developed a relationship, a friendship.
Okay.
And it developed from there.
Okay. Now, the common thing here is that African-American ladies are married to Africans a lot. Mm-hmm. But we don't see the men marrying African women that often. So I'm kind of interested to see how this went. How did your friends react to the fact that you were about to marry an African woman?
Well, some had many resistance to it, but I chose to proceed with it, and now they're used to her because she's an excellent cook. And when they come by, they look forward, especially my son.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what were the basis for their misunderstanding of your marrying an African woman?
Well, it's unusual for African Americans to marry African women because I don't know of anybody else that, since we've been married, I've seen and heard of other people who married African women, but it was quite unusual. Yeah. It was a big step at the beginning.
They thought it would be what? Because I know when African American women are about to marry African men, the usual thing is that they're gonna oppress you, they're gonna keep you down, they're gonna do this and do that and do that. So what was it in your case?
I think the misconception is that they feel that Africans in general, African women marry because they want to have a green card and all that kind of stuff. But in her case, she already had a green card, so. I think developing a friendship and knowing her as a person was what attracted me to her.
Okay. And that's not your first marriage, though?
Correct.
You've been married to an American?
Yes.
Good. I hope you don't mind my bringing this out. Otherwise, this show will not be real. And Mrs. Brown?
Yes.
You were born and raised in Gambia?
Yes.
And you moved to America?
Yes.
And you met this handsome young man?
Yes.
Okay, married him?
Yes.
What's funny about that? So, what was the apprehension you had when you were getting married to an American?
Well, actually, I never thought I would marry an African American or marry outside my country.
Okay.
But meeting him, and he's a very good person. I can talk to him. He listens.
Okay.
He was a shoulder to lean on.
Okay.
And that kind of, and we were friends.
All right.
We were very good friends. We would talk about religion and everything.
Okay. Now, it's interesting also to know that both of you are Muslims.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why I want to have this show is because most of the shows I've had are mainly based on Christian, people with Christian orientation. So I wanted to see how marriages work within the Muslim believers. Mm-hmm. Right. So how does this, you met him as a Christian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a Christian. Mm-hmm. And now he's converted to Islam.
Yes.
Okay. So what were the challenges you faced when you were getting married or when you met each other with the religion? And was that a problem?
No, actually, it was not from my side.
Okay.
Knowing him that he's a good man, and that's what the woman really needs, a good man by her side.
A good man.
Yeah, and he was a good man, and he was somebody who could listen. I could talk to him.
Yeah.
You know, he enjoyed eating my food and all that stuff.
This thing about food.
You know, he loves everything from Africa.
He wasn't the food, right?
No, it was the food. Yeah.
And what's the particular dish that really got him?
I think it's the jollof rice.
Jollof rice.
Yes.
Okay. You're from the Wolof tribe.
Yes.
And Wolof is actually what we call jollof.
Yes.
Jollof rice.
Jollof, exactly.
Okay.
And he loves everything about us.
Okay.
The food, the incense.
All right.
The beads and everything.
The incense?
Yes.
Okay.
We burn incense.
Okay.
I will let him talk about that later on.
All right.
He'll tell you what he feels when I burn the incense for him.
Okay.
You know, and the food. And whenever he invites people, he wants me to cook the jollof rice. I say, why do you want me to cook the jollof? He said, because that's the food that you cook from your country.
Okay.
You know.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
You've been married before.
Yes.
So that wasn't your first marriage.
No.
So we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to tell us we're going to get into the challenges that Africans face here in their married life, which is the topic of our show.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to create some kind of a background before we go into the issue. So please don't go away. Stay tuned. We're coming back.
The Law Office of Donald P. Edwards is proud to sponsor African Treasures, a program that celebrates the African continent, its people, its music, its past and its future. Wherever we are on the face of the earth, we are an African people.
We are bringing the treasures of Africa from all parts of the world straight to you.
Welcome to the second segment of this show. I'm Dr. Okeke, your host. If you missed this episode, please log on to our website. It's www.africantreasurestv.com. And you're going to see numerous shows that we've done within the past 5 years. And also have a chance to watch the African Youth Forum hosted by Adora Okeke. And your young ones can enjoy that too. Today our topic is the state of African marriages in America. And my guests are Mr. and Mrs. Brown. So in the first segment, we talked about your background and stuff like that. And I would like you to help me a little bit discuss the problems and the challenges that Africans who are married here in America face. I am from Nigeria originally, and among Nigerians there's a very high rate of divorce, higher than what it is in Nigeria. Part of it is attributed to the new environment where we find ourselves, the law, the social issues and economic issues and stuff like that, which are quite different from what we have at home. I don't know, and also our Christian background, which is more liberal than the Islam, the Mohammedanism. So I'm going to ask you this, Mrs. Brown, tell us, among Gambians and Senegalese who are Muslims, who are here, who you know, how are their marriages? How are they going? How are they going, the marriages, as compared to those who are married back home?
Well, actually, I would say that they're going very well.
Really? Mm-hmm. What do you think is the cause of the improvement?
I think because people are out here, with your husband. You don't have in-laws or anybody to cater to. Back home, you have to deal with your husband, your in-laws, everybody. Okay. It's kind of like a circle. Okay. Out here, it's just you and your husband and probably your kids. Yeah. So you have all the time together, do things together, go to movies, cook food, and do things on your own together. So
you're saying that back home, marriages are not as solid back home as they are here among Gambians and Senegalese?
Actually, I would say it's solid back home. But the thing is, if anything happens back home, you have people out there who will try and fix it. Okay.
So in other words, there's more support for marriages back home.
Back home, yeah.
So does it mean that when that marriages fall apart here faster?
No, I think out here, when you know that you're here alone with your husband, you don't have that other racket around you. Okay. Probably that makes you, avoid so many things, or do what you're supposed to do. Because back home, when anything happens, people will always come, sit you down, try and fix everything. Okay. But here is kind of different. Before you have them back home, it would take a longer time. Yeah. So I think
does that make the marriage stronger here?
I think it makes it stronger out here.
Okay. Do you find do you find a lot of people within your community divorcing?
Here in America?
Yes.
Actually, I would say no.
Do you divorce within the Muslim? Does your religion, the Muslim religion back home, does that encourage divorce?
But it doesn't. But when it comes to divorce, when it's really need to divorce, then you can divorce. Yes. But they don't like divorce in marriages. Okay. Always try to patch things up.
Do they patch things up faster back home or more often back home than you do here? Yeah. I just want to see, are marriages more stable back home in Gambia than they are here in America among the Muslim community?
Yeah, I would say yes. The thing is, back home, if there's a problem, they can fix it. Okay. I think because you don't have the people out here who are going to fix the problem, so that's what makes people kind of be aware and not do certain things to bring problems to the home. Okay.
Back home in Nigeria, the man is the one that's the breadwinner. And the woman is kind of the bread baker, and everyone is a bread eater. That's a little joke, actually. But and that helps to keep. Everybody has a role to play. Yes. Here in America, that role is reversed. The woman is out there in the workforce most of the time, working sometimes more than the man, and brings home more bacon than the man, and it creates problem. Do you have that in?
No.
So who works more?
It's the husband. The husband brings home, even if I have more money than him, the religion asks him, the husband, to make sure that he provides everything for me. Provide the house, the food, should clothe me as well. It depends. If I have my money and I want to help, then I help him.
So that's how
That's how Islam relates, that you should always take care of your woman.
And that's how it is here in America.
Yes.
So that format that you have at home, you carry it over here. So it's not changed.
No, some it's not the same, but most people it's the same.
Okay.
It's not changed.
So you observe the same rules with marriages
Yes.
here. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Ken, do you have anything to say about this before we go on break?
You was talking
Your
about
observation. Yeah.
You was talking about in Gambia and here.
Yes.
And she was making reference to people patching it up.
Yes.
The essence is that I think when you're here by yourself and alone, you don't have any influences.
Okay.
There may be people patching up may be influenced positively or negatively, but I think here what she was saying is that you tend to work harder to make the relationship work.
You don't have more of outside forces interfering.
Correct.
Okay. Well, we'll get more into that, but right now we're going to pause for a station break. Please don't go away. We're back in a minute.
One cannot fall in love with that which they don't know. So remember to tune into African Treasures weekly, and keep in mind, to love Africa is to know Africa. we are bringing the treasures of Africa from all parts of the world straight to you.
Welcome to the final segment of this episode. Again, is the state of African marriages in America. And I'm going to turn to you, Mr. Brown. Your first marriage was to a Christian. You were a Christian then. You belonged to Christian faith then. And now you're married to a Muslim and in the Muslim religion. What do you see as the difference between marrying the Christian marriage and the Christian marriage and the Muslim marriage? What's the difference, sir?
I find the major difference is that I think African American women are more independent because they've had to be independent than women from Africa. And I think prior to integration, basically the African American woman and the African woman was basically the same in terms of the home. If a woman goes out and she brings home more money than the man, I think that causes conflict. But in a marriage where you have a woman at home, that role is sufficient because she chooses to take that role. I think it really helps because you don't have the financial constraints. You have to have the 2 cars and all that, everything like that. And I think from a financial standpoint, it's good. And also, I think it takes pressure off the man having to juggle the relationship, if that makes sense to you.
Are you saying that in the American marriage or in the Christian marriage, American marriage, there's more attachment to acquisition of wealth or material things that eventually play a negative role in the relationship or creates pressure? Is that what you're inferring to?
In some sense, I think, the materialism and having the 2 cars and staying abreast of all the new fashions and all that kind of stuff.
Bigger house,
and I think a lot of times... Bigger neighborhoods. I think it puts stress on the relationship.
Yeah. So you say that is it the Muslim religion or the African relationship that gets rid of that, of the material importance or the importance people put on material things? Is it the religion that takes it away, or is it the African background that takes it away?
I think there are essential things to the Christian religion and the Muslim religion. It talks about being satisfied with what you have.
Okay.
The Bible talks about it, the Quran talks about it. And I think when people get outside of that and they just be obsessed with material things, I think that's when you have problems. But I don't see any difference from that standpoint.
Okay. Ken, what I'm trying to see here is because you have a unique experience that most of us don't have. I don't have your experience. I've been married before, and both of my marriages were to Christians. I'm from Nigeria. I'm not a Muslim. I was born and raised in a Muslim area, but I never associated with Muslims. I don't know much about. I never read the Quran from from front to back. So, but you are in a unique situation. You were a Christian baptized. Of course, I met you in the church, and then you left that, and then you're in the Muslim religion. You're married to a Muslim woman. Previously, you were married to a Christian, a church-going person. And I'm trying to see if you can help us with the experience. How does that help marriage? Does that help marriage? Does that make any difference in the marriage life?
I think there's certain things in the Christian religion and the Muslim religion that are similar. When you consider the Old Testament, there are certain aspects of the Old Testament that talks about the role of the woman. And I think now in the 20th century, that the roles in some instances have been reversed. Like you was talking about a woman going out bringing home more money than the man. That's kind of a turnaround from the way it used to be in South Georgia where I was raised. My mother always worked at home. My father, same thing that they did back then is what happening now. That I think if the woman is in the home, not saying that's where she should be, it kind of stabilized the home environment. But if everybody's going out, coming home at 5 o'clock, there's nobody to have dinner, we got to have dinner, we got to feed the kids, all that kind of stuff, that in itself causes stress.
Okay. Thank you. Coming back to the topic of this show, the state of African marriages in America, I'm getting the impression that the experience that people from Gambia and Senegal have or are having in America is different from the experience Nigerians, Sierra Leoneans, Liberians, Ghanaians are having in America, because we have a different type of experience altogether. Our marriages are breaking up faster than what it is in Nigeria. The culture here in America is not very conducive to our marriages. The things we have to go through and the things we have to embrace is not very conducive to our marriages. So our marriages are disintegrating faster than we can imagine. But I'm trying to see if that thing, or if that's also the experience of people from the extreme West Africa where you're from. And I don't seem to get that feeling. It seems like we who are exposed to Western ideas and Christian ideas are more unstable in our marriages than those who are in the west part of Nigeria. I mean, of West Africa.
Okay, what I can say is, I'm from Africa.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I make sure that I hold on to things that I have from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I do the things that I'm supposed to do for my husband. There are stuff that I should do for him, and I still do it for him, and I will always do it for him. I will never change. And if I hold on to that, there wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
But if I had that, and then I come here, all of a sudden I say, I'm not going to do it because I'm in America, there'll be trouble.
Okay.
Well, I'll make sure that I hold on to what I'm supposed to do for him.
Yeah.
As a husband, there are certain things that I'm entitled to do for him. Cook his food, serve him when he comes home, make sure that his clothes are clean, fix the bed. For instance, there are certain things that I need to do for him,
okay.
and I will always do them.
The major problem I think Nigerians are, people from Nigeria, those countries I've mentioned are facing is who is the head of the household. Mm. In America, even though it's not said, but you can tell that the woman is the head of the household. Mm-hmm. We come in here and observe things. They don't say it. Americans don't say it. Mm-hmm. But we come in here and see that the woman is the one that is in control of the household. Mm-hmm. She is the head of the household. And when our women come in here, they get confused with that role. You seem to hold on to your own role. Yes. But people from my part of the West Africa have a big problem with that.
Let me say something. He's the head of the household. But at the same time, I'm the head of the household.
Okay.
Because I'm at home fixing stuff.
Right.
He doesn't know what's happening.
Okay.
Everything is fixed by me. So in a sense, he is the head of household. But I am the head of household in another sense.
So that was your partners?
Yes.
Who's the neck? Somebody's the head. Someone has to be the neck that rotates the head or anchors the head.
Probably.
I thought it's the old lady.
I am the neck.
I thought, that's what I thought.
But I'm just saying that he's the head of household. But usually what he does always is the woman in the house who decides what happens, even though I don't say it.
Okay.
But
so in other words, in a sort of way, you're in control, but you let him think that he is. On that note,
you don't get it.
Thank you for letting us come into your home. Join us again next time. Thank you. And thanks for coming.
Thank you for watching. And please join us again next week at the same time as we continue to share with you the treasures of Africa.